dying. We are not saying this. 14,000 scientists across the world are actively
degrees Celsius from 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's the most up-to-date assessment of how global warming.
Over 83 million people are expected to die globally over the next 80 years.
Wake up.
The Philippines tops a list of countries most susceptible to hazards prospect climate change.
Climate change are being observed. These effects are expected to continue and intensify in the future.
All life on Earth, from ecosystems to human civilization, is vulnerable to a changing climate. More frequent and severe climate extreme events such as heat waves over land and in the ocean, droughts and flooding have caused widespread and pervasive impacts to ecosystems, people, cities, and infrastructure, and limit the chances of a livable future for all. The impacts involve severe and widespread disruptions to nature and to society, reducing our ability to grow nutritious food or provide clean drinking water. This is a story that everyone needs to know. For too long, we have overseen the destruction of the wild animals and wild species on our planet, and we are now beginning to feel their loss. But we must not give up hope, for there is a path, and it's a clear one. Earth, as far as we know, is unique in its capacity for life. Millions of species, billions of individuals, each with their own characteristics. Everyone wants access to the shrinking resources. Almost half of our planet's forests have been filled for their timber. As the planet warms, weather systems are becoming less predictable. Deadly storms, fires, and floods are all becoming more frequent and more severe. As Earth's biodiversity drops, things we have taken for granted start to disappear. Clean air and water, the food we eat, the soil it grows in. We can restore the balance of nature, fix the relationship between our planet and our business, and change the way we live on our planet for the better forever.
changes in the climate that occur over decades, centuries, or longer. It is caused by rapidly increasing greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere due primarily to burning fossil fuels. Examples are coal, oil, and natural gas. These heat-trapping gases are warming the Earth and the oceans, resulting in rising sea levels, changes in storm patterns, altered ocean currents, changes in rainfall, melting snow and ice, more extreme heat events, fires, and droughts. These impacts are projected to continue and in some cases intensify, affecting human health, infrastructure, forest, agriculture, freshwater supplies, coastline, and marine systems. Why should a few degrees of warming be a cause for a danger or concern? According to experts, global climate change could have a greater potential to change life in our planet than anything else except a nuclear war. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, a United Nations body that evaluates climate change science, released its report on global climate change. The report's important conclusions were the world's climate has changed significantly over the past century.
I'm and I'm going to discuss the causes of climate change. The causes of climate change could be natural, which are inevitable in nature, or by human activities. One of the natural causes of climate change includes volcanic eruption. It is one of the natural causes of climate change because when a volcano erupts, it emits different natural aerosols like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, salt crystals, and even microorganisms like bacteria and viruses. It can cause the cooling effect to Earth's lithosphere, which is the rigid outer part of the Earth. It is for the reason that emitted aerosols can block a certain percentage of sun radiation. This cooling effect may last for about 1 or 2 years. In violent volcanic eruption, ash particles are released in the stratosphere. Stratosphere is where you'll find the very important ozone layer. The ozone layer helps protect us from ultraviolet radiation or UV from the sun. The volcanic ashes that have sulfur dioxide combines with water vapor. It then forms the sulfuric acid and sulfurous aerosols, where the sulfurous aerosols are transported by easterly or There are several recorded eruptions that caused climate change. One is the Mount Tambora of Indonesia, which erupted in 1816, and was then considered the largest volcanic eruption in human history. The eruption of Mount Krakatau of Indonesia in 1883 and Mount Pinatubo of our country, the Philippines, in 1991 also contributed to the cold years of planet Earth. Greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are natural gases. However, the high levels of these gases in the atmosphere contributes to global warming. The main gases responsible for the greenhouse effect includes carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and water vapor. The increasing amount of these gases is due to human activities. Most carbon dioxide we emit comes from fossil fuels used for transportation. And although methane persists in the atmosphere for far less time than carbon dioxide, it is much more potent in terms of greenhouse effect. In fact, pound for pound, its global warming impact is 25 times greater than of a carbon dioxide over 100 years. Nitrous oxide. It is a powerful greenhouse gas. It has a GWP 300 times than carbon dioxide over 100 years. And it remains in the atmosphere on an average little more than a century. Water vapor. The most abundant greenhouse gas overall. Water vapor differs from other greenhouse gases in the changes of its atmospheric concentrations, and are linked not to human activities directly, but rather to the warming that results from the other greenhouse gases we emit.
Orbital changes. Changes in the Earth's orbit around the Sun and changes in the tilt and wobble of the Earth's axis can lead to cooling or warming of the Earth's climate because they change the amount of energy our planet receives from the Sun. These changes, known as Milankovitch cycles. The Milankovitch cycles describe how relatively slight changes in Earth's movement affect the planet's climate. The cycles are named for Milutin Milankovitch. a Serbian astrophysicist who began investigating the cause of Earth's ancient ice ages in the early 90s. According to the American Museum of Natural History, or AMNH, there are three elements of Milankovitch cycles. First is the shape of Earth's orbit, known as eccentricity. And second is the angle Earth's axis is tilted with respect to Earth's orbital plane, known as obliquity. And third, or lastly, is the direction Earth's axis of rotation is pointed, or known as precession. When we say eccentricity, Earth's annual pilgrimage around the Sun isn't perfectly circular, but it's pretty close. Over time, the pull of gravity from our solar system's two largest gas planets, which is Jupiter and Saturn, causes the shape of Earth's orbit to vary from nearly circular to slightly elliptical. Eccentricity measures how much the shape of Earth's orbit departs from a perfect circle, which variations affect the distance between Earth and the Sun. And second is the obliquity. So when we say obliquity, the angle Earth's axis of rotation is tilted as it travels around the Sun is known as obliquity. Obliquity is why Earth has seasons. Over the last million years, it has varied between 22.1 and 24.5 degrees with respect to Earth's orbital plane. The greater Earth's axial tilt angle, the more extreme our seasons are. As each hemisphere receives more solar radiation during its summer, when the hemisphere is tilted toward the Sun, and less during winter, when it is tilted away. Largest tilt angles favor periods of deglaciation, or what we call the melting and retreat of glaciers and ice sheets. These effects aren't uniform globally, or higher latitude receive a larger change in total solar radiation than areas closer to the equator. And lastly is the precession. So when we say precession, as Earth rotates, it wobbles slightly upon its axis, like a slightly off-center spinning toy top. This wobble is due to tidal forces caused by the gravitational influences of the Sun and Moon that cause Earth to bulge at the equator, affecting its rotation. The trend in the direction of this wobble relative to the fixed position of star is known as axial precession, or the cycle of axial precession spans about 25,771.5 years.
Carbon dioxide is used as a refrigerant in fire extinguishers, for inflating life rafts and life jackets, blasting coal, foaming rubber and plastics, promoting the growth of plants in greenhouses, immobilizing animals before slaughter, and in carbonated beverages.
Climate change is a real and it will continue to accelerate. The threat of the global warming is an existential one for humankind. It's also one that being driven by humankind. Here are some of the humankind activities that cause climate change and some of the necessities that climate change has affected. Humans are responsible for climate change largely due to our greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases trap heat from the sun as it passes through Earth's atmosphere. There are some natural greenhouse gases such as water vapor and carbon dioxide. But over time, humans have added more to the atmosphere, creating a massive heat trap. The primary example is pollution and deforestation.
Good day everyone, my name is John D. Ramisa. Today we will tackle about halocarbon. What is halocarbon? Halocarbon released by human activities destroy ozone in the atmosphere and have caused the ozone hole over Antarctica. While water vapor is the most most abundant and important greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, human activities have only small direct influence on the amount of atmospheric water vapor. Directly, humans have the potential to affect water vapor substantially by changing climate. Aerosols contain both naturally occurring compounds and those emitted as a result of human activities. Fuel, fossil fuel, and biomass burning have increased aerosol containing sulfur compounds, organic compounds, and black carbon soot. Human activities such as surface mining and industrial process have increased dust in the atmosphere. IPCC 2007 on September 16, 1986, an international treaty was adopted. It is called the Montreal Protocol. The treaty aims to regulate the production and use of the chemicals that contribute to the ozone layer depletion. Britannica 2017.
Climate change is now considered one of the greatest threats to economic stability, as well as its serious impact on the environment and people. Climate change is one of the biggest threats of economic stability. Heat waves make us less able to work and reduce productivity. Climate change could affect our society through impacts on a number of different social, cultural, and natural resources. As the climate change continues to change, millions of poor people face increasing challenges in terms of extreme events, health effects, food, water, and also livelihood security, migration and forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks.
Climate change won't just impact forests or coral reefs or even people in far-off countries. It will affect all of us from more extreme weather to increasing food prices to recreation and decreased opportunities. To appreciate the natural world, people everywhere will feel its effect. Climate change, it's happening now, and it's the most serious threat to life on our planet. We humans must take immediate measures to control it as soon as possible. Humans have already triggered massive climate changes, but if we immediately stop generating greenhouse gases, the rise in global temperatures would begin to level out within a few years. Keep fossil fuels in the ground, invest renewable energy, switch to sustainable transport, improve farming, and encourage vegan diets. Restore nature to absorb more carbon. Protect forests like the Amazon, protect the oceans, reduce plastic, and how much people consume. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and to feel the climate change is too big to solve. But we already have the answers. Now, it's a question of making them happen.
Why did you throw that?
No, we don't need it anyway.
And besides, it's just a piece of trash. No, you need to pick it up and always dispose your waste in a proper trash bin.
Nature once determined how we survive. Now, we determine how nature survives.